Craig with us here in the studio. Mario Malchior and Jan Arge Fjortoft join us as well. Mario,
surprised he's not getting any Man United flags.
Yes, Jan was very Manchester United TV in your opinion today because he just was at Old Trafford, of course.
Well, yeah, he doesn't like to upset people. Yeah, I'll upset them for you, Jan. Don't worry.
There you go.
Tell them I'm horrible.
Yeah.
So this is the man. This is the man who tells other people if they say one team looks good, he is so afraid of his own masculinity to have a go with Manchester United again, and I can't even say the English word for it. So let's go.
Just because you like the buffet in the press room, not my fault.
Where are you, Jan? Are you in the Lowry?
Craig, yes. I did a Phillips, so I have a bit overweight, so I didn't use the facility today.
Oh, well, fair enough. Are you in the Lowry, Jan? That's the posh Manchester hotel, isn't it, where all the players stay?
Yes.
I'm a posh hotel today.
Oh, Lowry. Very nice.
That's not a bad place to be, though.
No, that's all right, mate. Not too bad. Yeah, it's not the normal fire door that we see behind you.
Pouring down in Manchester.
Yeah, looked at the rain, didn't it?
God, no wonder it's
just look miserable.
Struggling to get people there.
Yeah. Mario, when you're in LA, I know you're in Amsterdam at the moment. When you're in LA and it's Christmas and you're watching them play at Old Trafford or Birmingham or Wigan, those horrible places you're at, you must love it.
I love it because I live in all those places you just mentioned, and now finally I can pick my answer. Christmas is now family Christmas. Back in the day, it was hotel Christmas.
Yes, I know. People like Jan knocking on your door.
We don't want to upset any of our viewers from Wigan, if indeed we have any.
Right, this is never good when you start a sentence.
No, I must want to know. You didn't live in Wigan when you played for Wigan?
I lived in Manchester.
There we go.
That's why I know the Lowry.
Yeah,
that's an answer to your question without asking the question.
Yep.
But he's answered the question.
In the Lowry. And Mario, how was your Christmas? Because you're with family in Amsterdam.
Oh man, I love it. That's why every year I'll be coming home just for Christmas.
Oh, Mario,
it's the best place to be.
What's your traditional Christmas food in Amsterdam? Is it same as us, turkey?
No, because I eat a lot of Surinamese food, so we have similarities to Turkey, but we just make it with a lot of spices and stuff like that. So my family, sisters, my girl, everybody's around. We just have a big crowd and we just sit, eat. But you eat so much, I'm telling you that when I'm done here, I need to go back and start cutting some weight because you put on some serious weight. Being with these people.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
The good thing here, working here, Mario, is that no one notices, given the company that you keep on the show.
Well, no. I mean, I can see you've really piled a few pounds on here.
Yes, definitely.
So I'll tell you that now.
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm good. Don't worry about it, Greg.
I tell you what, not everybody eats Christmas dinner, I was surprised.
Yeah?
What do you mean? Don't look at me like that.
What's he talking about?
Well, I mean, I know there's different religions and all that stuff, but I was surprised. My son was supposed to be working Christmas Day.
Yes.
And had to call out from the night before because he was unwell.
Right.
But felt well enough that night he didn't want to come for Christmas dinner with us because he was a bit under the weather, but he went out and got a Chinese takeaway.
Right.
And he said on Christmas night, the restaurant was rammed.
Yeah, it's a tradition, isn't it? Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I said, are you sure it's going to be open? He went, oh, it's open.
Chinese for Christmas Eve, yeah. It's there. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
Yeah.
He said, and I was surprised at that.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There we go. Movie theatres as well.
Okay.
Sorry?
Cinemas as well.
Really?
Huge on Christmas Day, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go. There we are. Jan, what did you do in Scandinavia for Christmas?
Austria.
Well, it's Austria and Scandinavia. Thank you, Dan. For the listeners who don't know this, Dan thought that Austria was a part of Scandinavia, as USA is a part of Argentina. But now I was at home, had a beautiful Christmas with my family, and we eat kind of ribs at Christmas and some sausages and all that kind of thing. So no Chinese takeaway. Having said that, yesterday we went to another family party, and I was desperate not to have Christmas to eat, and then they had pizza. That was fantastic. Best
lovely.
ever.
Oh, nice. Pineapple on the pizza, of course, Jan?
Never.
Yes.
You're such a big kid.
Yes, of course.
Mario.
Dan, you need to come to Italy, man. You cannot have pineapple on your pizza, my friend.
I would just do it. I would go to Marcotti's house and just order a pineapple pizza to annoy him.
Mario, don't engage with
It
him.
would be magnificent. He would self-combust on the spot.
I tell you what, turkey's a bit horrible, though, isn't it? It's dry.
Well, I think we only have it once a year.
Well, don't people have it at Thanksgiving?
Yes, that's true.
It's a bit
Twice
dry.
a year. You just got to get cranberry sauce, chuck that
It's a
on
bit
gravy,
dry,
the whole
isn't it?
shebang.
Yeah.
Right. To all, who wins the Premier League first? Manchester United or Newcastle? Mario, what do you think?
Oh, I go for Newcastle by the biggest surprise because those people are, oh my God, they are shocking me, Newcastle, what they're doing. I want to see, I'll go for them. Why? Because everybody will pick Man U the way they're playing. No, I go Newcastle. They just keep surprising me.
Well, we know who Jan's going to say.
There's no point going to him, is there? Go on, yeah.
No,
surprises.
But what? No, yeah, 2-2. But what I do like about Newcastle is that they are building a club, and they're not just buying players; they're building a club. I like that, but I still think that Manchester United will win the league before them. You can't buy culture.
Yes.
No.
United?
Yes.
Yeah.
But you like the surprise, Jan? You like the surprise, though, because the surprise is pretty intense, what they're doing now.
I couldn't hear you, but I wonder if you said that I get confused by the United here. The Leeds United, Newcastle United, Cambridge United, Manchester United.
We're only talking about the questions Manchester United. Now what? God, I mean, it's sort of awkward today, Jan. Just because you're in your posh hotel.
These Austrians are annoying.
No, sorry, I just studying Craig's contract, what he is supposed to say at the show.
Right.
Well, my contract at the bottom says you have to be nice every now and again. Actually, I tell you what, I've been if you look back over the last 3 or 4 months, Jan, probably the most positive about Man United.
There you go.
However, there's
a limit.
A level of the opposition you have to take into account.
Right, have any of the panellists ever gone through a spell of form like Marcus Rashford, where a new manager, transfer move, revitalised their form? I'm looking at you, Jan.
If I've been bad or good?
No, when you made a move, you were much better than you were before, or a new manager came in, it revitalised you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody do that. I mean, I had a manager in Germany. He's the worst manager I've ever seen. He had no clue at all. So it took me 8 games to get him away. But
I didn't know Solskjaer coached in Germany.
Oh, that was that Scandinavian presentator is very good at the moment. But
that's it.
But it can make a big impact, and you can go the bad way as well. Because as we talked about in the show today, Dan, you see now when you get a defined role, it's much easier to get your skills out. So it can go both ways. So I think that by Rangnick, I mean, you can say a lot of things about Rangnick, but it was hard to see how they tried to play. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Mario, what was the big moment for you where your form changed when it was a new manager or a transfer?
When I was at Ajax, I remember being at Ajax. I made my debut on the Van Gaal. I became the best young player at that season. And next thing you know, Morten also took over, brought in 9 players. And I went from a starting player, I went to a bench player. And then he tried to persuade me to extend my contract. I mean, you know the rest of the answer of that one, though.
Mario, how do you handle that as a young player? Do you still have the confidence to knock on his door and say, "Oi, what's going on?"
Yes, you have to do that. I always advise players to have a conversation with the coach, but do it one-on-one. Never do it with anybody around you, because soon as you have a conversation with a coach, with the team around you, he feels like you're trying to take the lead. But if you go on a one-on-one against him, you got a better situation to going on. But remember, when you ask a coach question, make sure you have closed questions. Don't leave him up to open question, because he will spin around your answer, and before you know, you walk out of the door without an answer.
And then what happened in the end? You made the move to Chelsea.
Yes, he ended up putting me on the bench because Ajax offered me a contract. And at that point, I said, like, you know, I want to still think. And they didn't want to give me time to think. They wanted to give me a week to think about it. Wow. Next thing you know, the week went by, and I said, like, I looked at them and I was like, okay. And then a week went by, and then they put me on the bench. But then, fortunate, I had like maybe 4 or 5 more experienced players, like the Blaine de Boers and all them. We wanted to win the cup. So I went to the coach and said, you got to start Mario again because we want to win the cup. We ended up winning the cup. and I left to Chelsea anyway at the end of the season.
You only ever go and see a manager one-on-one. Well, most people. But going to see a manager is a bit like doing this show. I'm serious.
Okay, I'm looking forward to this analogy.
No, you always have to have an answer up your sleeve.
Right, yeah.
If you're bright enough.
But some people haven't in the past.
Some people, well, some people are different breeds. But you always have to have an answer up your sleeve, because as Mario said, when you go in and corner a manager, because ultimately you're going in because you're not happy about something, he's also of the same mindset, because he's probably been a player.
Yeah.
He's also got some stuff up his sleeve. Sure. So he's throwing you curveballs back about why he's doing something, or why he's playing this player, or why you're not playing, or why you're not training well enough. And you've got to be able to spin that. As he's batting it over to you, you've got to volley it back.
Right.
Sharpish.
Okay.
Otherwise you're cannon fodder. You just go in and he goes, well, you're not as good as everybody else. And you go, okay, and walk out.
Yeah.
It's just weak.
Jan, you knocked on the door on previous occasions?
Yeah, I have. I think that is, Boyce has said it perfectly well. It's much easier to take 1 against 1, but sometimes you feel they just say it to say it, and as Craig is saying, they know the business as well, because there's a lot of people knocking on the door. But you can do it the other way around, like Felix Magath, the famous, feared German coach, who goes into the dressing room and he do that exercise in every club he's at. He did that at Bayern Munich. He went to Claudio Pizarro. The assistant coach went in and said, you should see the manager. So Claudio Pizarro, the striker, came in. He was sitting there for 5 minutes and the coach didn't say one word. Not one word. It's not like he's not talking 1 or 2 words. He said nothing. And after 5 minutes, he said to Pizarro, now you can go out. So that is the other way around. There is always a game going on.
What does that do?
No,
It's the noise, people.
I don't know. Felix Magath, that's his way he's doing it. Felix Magath always do that. Before every team meeting, and it wasn't Fulham, it's the same thing. He's doing his tea thing, 2-3 minutes, then he's eating his cakes, and then before meetings and all that. That is just a game. Is the point? I don't know.
Sounds like a terrible game.
I think I would have said, I think I'd have been like, oi. I had a few civilised conversations with managers and coaches, but I also had some not so. I tell you what, I had an absolute tear up with John Barnes. I have to be honest.
But this is when he was coach of Celtic.
Yeah, and I got on well with John, and I don't have an issue with John, but I was particularly peeved about something, and it was after the Janssen era. When things had been going brilliantly for me and the team, and then Janssen left and things for the whole club took a downturn. But anyway, I think I've told you this. John thought the 3-hour bus journey from Aberdeen back to Glasgow would have calmed me down, but it didn't. I had Stubbsy and a few of the boys waiting in the car to drive back to Newton Mearns, where we lived, and I went in and he was next to Eric Black, his coach, and it started as a civilised question to John about stuff, and it ended up he was shouting back at me and I was shouting at him, tearing into him, and Eric was just stood there. And then the next day when I came in, John Clark, who was the kit man, who was former Celtic player, Lisbon Lion, one of the greats, lovely guy, John said to me, I heard that big man in the kit room. And the kit room is all the way at the other end of the main stand from where the office is.
Right.
It was a tear-up.
Wow.
To be fair, John just sat behind his desk and shouted back at me. I was screaming at him.
And then what happened after?
Shouting, I've got people to... He was shouting at me, I've got people... Because I said to him, do you know how many goals I scored at this club?
No.
And I said, and you've got me playing in front of the back four. Yeah. And he's shouting at me, I've got other people that are better than you at scoring goals. Oh, and I was tearing back.
Did you bring up you were player of the year, that thing? Yes, I was player of the year.
I didn't need to bring that up.
What are you doing, John?
I didn't bring it. But all I'm saying is, it happens.
And then what was it like afterwards?
Oh, fuck. I don't have a problem with John.
It was fine.
Yeah, no. And I've worked with John on... it was a couple of months before I left, but that was Kenny's doing more than Barnesy. Right. But I worked with John on TV quite a few times in the years before I came here.
Right.
I don't have an issue.
It's all fine.
Yeah, absolutely fine. Barnesy
but sometimes you have to go. I think sometimes to the original question, when you got a new manager, sometimes if you have trouble with the manager, sometimes you have to put all on the line as well, as you're doing there, Craig. You're not sure how, or you know that Barnsley maybe will do that, but sometimes you just have to go for, even to get a move. You have to go for it, and sometimes these coaches who have that kind of fear factor. I had the same with Felix Magath that I talked about. I went all the way. We were not shouting, but I went all the way. And at the end of the day, he made me vice captain. I mean, it turned around. So sometimes that game you have to play, but I guess there's something you do when you turn 30. You don't do that when you're 22.
Just briefly, I remember now what triggered me. He said, and my argument was slightly flawed because the team had just battered Aberdeen at Pittodrie by I can't remember how many goals. I mean, obviously that Barnsley wasn't a success and things went downhill, but at that point it was going swimmingly. But he'd put me on the bench and I think it was, 5, 6, 7-0 in Aberdeen, and he'd brought a few other people onto the field and he hadn't brought me up, and so I was annoyed, and he said to me, he said, "Why would I bring you on? All you wanted to do was go and wave at the Celtic fans." I was like,
yeah. Player of the year last year, yes. Who do you have joining Newcastle,
the year before
Arsenal and Manchester City in the top 4 this season, Mario?
Newcastle, Arsenal, Man U. I mean, look, hey, it's normal that I'm going to call Chelsea, but at this point, I'm a little worried, man. Newcastle, Arsenal, Man City. Oh my God. Why are you doing this to me? Arsenal, Newcastle, Man City.
I'm going to help you. I'm going to say Man United. Man United.
Man United?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, no, Liverpool.
He's touching his ear again. He's trying to disconnect.
Okay, I have to pick someone. Newcastle, Arsenal, Man City. Okay, he's going for Liverpool. I'm going for rivalry, Man United.
Man United. Jan, who are you going for?
As we are so many former Chelsea players in here, then I should probably say Chelsea, shouldn't I? But
yes, come on, yeah.
I would say and Tottenham as well. It's a very, very close race. I think that if we should make some favourites, it's got to be Liverpool somehow.
Mario, who's the next player from the Eredivisie who'll get big money to move to the Premier League?
Big money to come to the Premier League now. Oh, Timber. I think Timber's got a great chance. I think he played for Holland. He got the lift that normally he plays now. He was for Juventus and now went to Bayern Munich. For him then, to making sure that the lift gets on the national TV and says like, I am not a right-sided player, because Timber knows to play that position better than me. That says enough about the talent. And he's young, he's talented, he is very comfortable on the ball. So I feel like this kid, he's got a lot of potential. So if I go for someone, sorry guys, I gotta pick Ajax Timber.
You don't have to say sorry, Mario. That's fine. You can apologise.
Because it's my own team, you know? It's because it's my own team. That's why.
That's all right. Here we go. For Jan, regarding Jude Bellingham, safe to say Dortmund would sell him to the highest bidder, but which club does Bellingham himself?
Well, I tell you that nobody knows that at the moment, but there are some clubs like Liverpool, they're talking a lot about linking him to them. Real Madrid apparently starting the official talks just over New Year's Eve. I don't think that is the case. I think that the clubs have been talking to Dortmund for a long time. They tried to get, we talked about the Liverpool players at the World Cup being the agents for Liverpool. You just saw pictures all the time with Trent Arnold, everybody, Anderson with Bellingham. I'm not sure. I will also put in another name that is not Bellingham. I don't think that Manchester City is out of the race either. So Pep Guardiola would love to see Bellingham going there. They have another agent. That is another guy who played for Borussia Dortmund. So this is much more open than people think. Don't count the links going to a club and think that will be the main thing. But I couldn't tell you who he preferred to play to. I couldn't tell you that.
Will you be a spokesman again? You were the spokesman for Sancho and, of course, spokesman for Haaland. You need the spokesman for Bellingham next, Jan. Is that the plan?
I never played with Bellingham's father, did I? I haven't checked. I don't think, no. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Go to Real Madrid, wouldn't you? Well, Man City.
I don't know. You're the players, you know.
I mean, that's an ageing midfield with a few youngsters in there. And that, I mean, you've got Casemiro's gone. Modric's not going to continue for long.
Yeah.
And Toni
Toni
Kroos.
You've got Camavinga, Tchouaméni,
Valverde. If you throw in Bellingham, Camavinga and Tchouaméni are not the same type of players as Bellingham. Bellingham's certainly more attacking.
Yes.
Valverde can play in so many positions. Maybe the guy just wants to come back to England. I don't know.
Mario, where would you go, given the choice?
Yeah, given the choice, I've been in England already. I will take the turn for Real first and then make my move to England. That's what I would.
There we go.
But don't you think it's opposite? That if you saw Haaland as well, he thought if you go to Real Madrid, that's kind of the end station. Where, I mean, in all due respect to all clubs, but there is some magical thing about Real Madrid. So if you go to Real Madrid, that is kind of the end station. So I just got a feeling that Jude Bellingham wants to go home and do well in England before he goes to Spain.
Yeah, I think my feeling is he wants to go home. But if you ask me personally, that's what I will do. And I understand what you say, but I always say some opportunities come one time, and you gotta take the journey.
Fair point.
Mario, did you ever have the chance of going to Spain?
I had the chance to go to Madrid, but I had a personal family issue, so that's why I went over.
Wow.
I went to go and see them, and I chose my family over Real Madrid. And then I stayed. Extended my deal at Ajax for 2 more years, and then eventually I went to Chelsea.
Don't worry, I was there, Mario. I'd have probably ruined it for you.
Stuck behind the net with a crazy pose, holding onto the net.
I didn't do that during matches. Final question. How would Alvarez, this is for you, Jan, as a striker, how would Alvarez feel after coming back and playing second fiddle to Haaland?
Yeah, we used to play second fiddle. He did the same thing for Argentina, didn't he? I mean, it's an amazing story. I think that is one of the story of the season. When Alvarez came to Manchester City, I mean, that was one of the best signing of last season, or of this season. But because of Haaland was there, he kind of matured into that role, did ever so well for Argentina. Can you imagine at that time how sad it's been in Norwegian when you see the guys who are on the bench for you score 4 goals at the World Cup? I think Alvarez he sounds like an intelligent player who understands how we develop, and he comes into that dressing room, and Erling Haaland can do as much as he wants, but he doesn't have a World Cup medal. So I think Alvarez is fine by that. He will contribute, and he will probably end up scoring 20 goals this season as well.
Could he pull off pigtails? That's another question, I don't know. Alvarez, I don't think he could.
Has anybody seen any of those guys?
The Argentinian.
They're probably in some bar in Buenos Aires down in tequilas as we speak. I mean, where are they?
Why are they having tequila?
Oh, anything.
Ten Hag spoke to one. Ten Hag called Martinez. He called Martinez. Ten Hag called Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez.
He spoke to him and told him, you got to come back. He told him.
Villa
Unai Emery's on the phone.
Unai Emery's called him up and he went, I don't know, I got this strange tone from Argentina. It sounded like a phone going down. More tequila. Why wouldn't you drink tequila? I don't drink tequila.
I don't like tequila.
I hate it.
No, tequila.
I hate it. Well, I'm just saying.
Dangerous drink. Anyway, that is it.
There's a lot of drink dangerous for you.
ESPN FC is back on your screen.
Dangerous man.
Thank you very much to Mario, to Jan, and to Craig. Me and Craig will be back here tomorrow to reflect. Oh, you're here as well. Tomorrow, Jan, you're going to the game? Oh, it doesn't matter. No one cares.
He's a Man City fan tomorrow.
City fan
City tomorrow. United today. Who knows?
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.